Yes. Woo! What can I say this morning? Running every day. Tell you what, yesterday was a easy 18 miles. Got that one in, I was very grateful, shall I say. Because, yeah, it went well. But I tell you what, my body is just like, what the biscuit is going on? What happened to just running 52 miles every couple of days and taking a break? So I had to start explaining to my body that, by the way, the other day, a couple of years ago, you crash your own body, you got run over by a car, and we had to let you rest. That's my mind telling my body that. So my body's like, oh, oops, what's going on here? So we said, well, get used to it. We're going to run every day from now on. And still put in a lot of miles. We're building you up so that you can get back to running at 50-something miles every weekend, every 2 weeks or so. So that's what we're doing, right now. So running every day is amazing. I was actually thinking about a lot of things today. This day of running, it allows me to deal with reality. I've actually got up, did a little bit of yoga, and implementing calisthenics in your yoga practice while you're stretching is hard. Man, it's still raining. What the biscuit? Don't spoil my phone. I wouldn't say I struggle, but yeah, getting up this morning, because I'm running every day now. So I think I'm maybe 10 days into it or so. I don't know. Yeah, one of those days into it. Into it. So my body's just getting adjusted to it. So after 30 days,
resuming workout,
it would be something that I do just for the fun of it. It's gonna be a lot more fun, because my body will be used to it. But until then, we are just tagging along, jogging so slowly, moving the body very easy and not trying to force
pausing
it.
workout.
I even came up with an idea of, what I call how to check your ego pose. If you ever had one of those days where you go out there for a run or a jog and some lady came with a gray hair or some guy with a gray hair, she might just be doing 6 miles that day and you're doing 12, but the fact is she's been running longer than you. And, what I usually do, I don't want my ego to get her. I have this pose called the tie your shoe pose. I start tying my shoes while I'm stretching, wait for her to go. And when she's gone past me, I get back up again. But this time, if she's coming back again, I'll say hello this time. But then, when she's going back, and she come back and lap me again, this is when I go for the cue.
Workout.
I throw my shoes in the air, make sure the shoe flies into the bushes. That way, by the time I walk without no shoes on, I'll pick up some leaves.
Pausing workout.
I have to, adjust those things. And by the time
resuming
she's
workout.
done. So I do that, because I don't want my ego to get hurt. It's not about that. It's not about the ego. So this is not a competition. It's about moving the body. As a matter of fact, it's when I become more creative. My brain is at its best when I do all this. I even came up with another ideology. Somebody is telling me that I'm getting a PhD in biology with a minor in scrubology. So, I graduate when I become wealthy. I'm spiritually wealthy, but when I become, financially wealthy, that's when I graduate. I have to take a lot of classes, hey, where's your life going class? What's wrong with you? What's your purpose in life class? Oh my goodness, you're 50 years old, you don't have jack. Oh, what the biscuit? All this kind of judges, those are the classes. So I grade myself based on how well I deal with emotions. You know, if I get angry, I don't grade myself. You know, I don't grade myself. But when I just smile and just let it be, yes. Morning. That's how I grade myself. Morning. That's how I grade myself. And I'm saying that in respect because the whole thing about moving the body.
Pausing workout.
Because a lot of topic that's been going on a lot that people always talk about now. I hear it a lot is mental illness. And mental illness.
Resuming workout.
One of the many ways to avoid them is by watching what you eat and moving your body.
Pausing workout.
It's just plain and simple. Plain and simple. A lot of people are depressed because there's certain oxygen that's not coming into their brain. Like, for example, just going into nature for like an hour or 20 minutes. It does a lot into you. I mean, we all know it. When a little baby has been born and they don't use the bathroom for like a couple of days, you take them out in the sun, and what do they do afterwards?
Pausing workout.
They start using the bathroom. So, a lot of the things that we need
resuming workout
for our body is actually outside. That's why we've got to respect this earth. You know, we need to respect it. You know, and I'm also reading a book by now. That probably should have been finished.
Pausing workout.
I'm reading this book called The Yoga Anatomy. Very interesting book. I don't even know who wrote it. Before then, I read the Pantagelli. Then I read Steve Jobs' book. So everything that I do is pretty much all about reading and wanting to learn more. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what, if you don't go ahead and do this with all this running thing, when do you want to do it? You know, do you think you're going to come back and you remember everything? So I decided that, now that I'm here, what the biscuit? What do I have to lose? You already lost everything, your friends, family. So why don't you just run? And that's what I've done. And I'm glad my body's back. So I want the whole world to run with me. And I also want people to know that the same emotions that you go through every morning, I go through it. I just know how to deal with it. You know, that's the beauty of our life. You know, knowing how to deal with your emotions. You know, especially our situation. And I don't want to mention be funny. But a lot of my religious friends always come across funny to me because they're a lot more stressful than what they should be. And now that I have no answer to, but now that blows me away. My religious friends are more stressful, more than I expect them to. You know, they take life so serious, it's not even funny. Now that I do not understand, and I think we all have different ways of dealing with it. So for me, one of the ways is moving my body.
Pausing workout.
Not eating certain foods. You know, like for example today, while I was running, you know, I listen to my body a lot. So anytime my body says, man, I grab a little apple and put it in my mouth. The last time I ignored that noise at a 24-hour race, that thing cost me 3 years of layback. I crashed my whole body.
Resuming workout.
But it also taught me not to be afraid, you know, because running for over 12 hours and not eating is amazing, but at the same time, it can do a lot of damage to your body. But for me, what I've learned from it was I was okay until I thought about food. The moment I thought about, biscuit, I haven't eaten all day, my whole body went into shock. And this is it, almost 3 years later, after all the injuries. That's how I come back to running again. I've done this for many, many years. I just love it. You know, this is where I find peace. This is where I find my makers. This is where and another thing that I also want to say that I'm going to leave to another day is that, you know, I really admire a lot of our preachers, you know, the effort that they put into preaching the words. It doesn't matter what religion it is.
Resuming workout.
But I also questions their eating habits. A lot of our reverends and teachers,
Pausing workout.
they are very good at giving us
Resuming
advice.
workout.
But yet, the simplest thing as watching what you put in your mouth, they struggle to deal with it. But yet, when you question it, you get you get attacked. So that I kind of have a little question mark for. I just don't think that's really fair. Because you turn on your Facebook app right now, or whatever it is, your TV, everybody is preaching. Everybody. And I mean, they're spreading the word of God. But one thing that they are not spreading the word of is the word of how to eat in moderation. Because through our mouth, through what we put in our mouth, is what defines our behavior. So let that be one of our goals. People, here we're in a Christian country. Nobody wants to talk about gluttony. But every day you hear people talking about voodoo. I just want to make that clear. Nobody wants to talk about gluttony. But every day we hear people talk about how to praise God, how not to worship God. And we wonder why our little kids are not taking us serious. Because this generation of kids, talking about the internet babies, the iPhones, because I know there's some of you are like me, we didn't have iPhones. One of them days when you call your girlfriend or boyfriend, you have to stay by the phone because that biscuit is engaged. You call them, it's like, boom, boom. But like these kids, they have cell phones. So they're extremely smart. And that's the reason why a lot of these kids, we're losing them. Because majority of the so-called leaders, especially in certain communities, which is the churches, we don't practice what we preach. All our reverends, most of them are overweight. But the moment you question their ability, they don't like it. The moment you question their ability, they get on the fence. And I'm just saying, these are all the things that I think about when I'm running, because I always say to myself, how can I make this world a better place? What do I need to do to contribute? Because a lot of time we think we have to have a lot of money before we can help the world and do something. But no, it ain't like that. I'm going to leave it alone, but today I have another 20 miles. No, not 20. Biscuit. What am I talking about? Another easy 18 miles today. Just a short run. I'm running every day. And I'm saying, let the whole world join me. And I'm going to be sharing what's in my mind based on the books that I've read. Because when people see runners, they think it's all about that. No. Especially when you have to run 100-mile races, you have to read like a mother biscuit. And I mean every single book. Reading, breathing, meditating. Yoga has to be your lifestyle. And for me, that's what it is, and I loved it. Because the more you read, the more open-minded you become. Let me take a deep breath. Leave it alone for now. And let me finish this quick 18 miles. And shall see you in the morning. One love.